Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Mangla, working as an assistant professor for the BBA department of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. The subject that I take up here is organizational behavior. This is our 10th lecture of OB and the topics that we'll be covering today are group. Basically we'll be learning about group dynamics today, wherein we'll be covering about group, types of the group behavior, group functions and importance of groups. Alright, so let's begin. Now, group. A group is basically, an aggregation of persons who have got close interrelationships, or a group or a cluster of two or more individuals who interact with each other on a daily, on an enduring basis or daily basis, and who are, assigned for a specific work to be done together. Let's see in detail. See, an organization is not merely a collection of individuals who work together to achieve their goals. Organization में सिर्फ individuals जो सिर्फ अपने goals achieve करने के लिए साथ में काम करते हैं. It's not only that, but it consists of a network of several formal work groups and informal social group of people. So it has a network of formal work groups and informal social group of people also. According to Mervyn Shaw, a group is two or more persons who are interacting with one another in such manner that each person influences and is influenced by each other person. So group is basically, it is a composition wherein it is a cluster of two or more people who interact with each other such that one person influences the other and the other one influences the first one. Alright. Now, from this only we can get to know certain features of group. Like there are two or more persons in a group. A single individual cannot interact with himself, he cannot form a group. So there might be two or more persons. Then there shall be an interaction. Interaction means that each member should share their ideas with each other. Third thing, it is a collective identity. In group we do not deal with any person individually. Group is a collective identity wherein all the people who are there, they are communicating with each other and they share information with each other. Then share goal interest. See, members of the group, they should subscribe and they should attain some of the common objectives. And they should set some common objectives, and when they attain those objectives, they are called group objectives. So these were a few features of the group. Now let's see the various types of the group. Now groups, have been broadly classified into three main groups like primary and secondary, small and large groups, and formal and informal groups. Let's see them one by one in detail. First one is primary and secondary groups. Now primary groups consist of a few people who share a sense of common identity, common values, interest and common goals. A group of few people जहाँ पे बहुत कम लोग हैं जिनकी एक common identity भी common है, their values are common, their interest and their goals are also common. Like we have family, we have friend circle, our friendship group. So herein we have all the common goals and we have common kind of values. Then there is a secondary group. Now secondary group is comparatively a large group consisting of several primary groups. So in a secondary group, a set of primary groups, they comprise a secondary group like a country, a village or an organization. See, a family is called a primary group when there is a group of many ample number of families in a city or in a town or in a country. So they all comprise of secondary group. So a composition of all the primary groups is called a secondary group. Then we have the next type of groups, that is small and large groups. Now a small group is a cluster of few individuals who have close interpersonal relations in interactions. Now those people, a small, very few individuals who are working together and who have got very close interpersonal relationships and close interactions also. They know each and everything about each other or they interact very commonly with each other. Then we have a large group. Now a large group is a collection of few small groups. When there are few small groups, when they are collected all together, they form a large group. And in such a group, interpersonal interactions are weak. Interpersonal interactions are not very strong as they are there in small groups. So there is a weak interaction in between interpersonal Examples are SAARC India, European Economic Community. These are all large groups. Now the next one is formal and informal group. Now a formal group is a work unit, which is established as a part of an organization and its structure. So basically formal group is a group which is formed within the organization structure. It is a work unit which is a part of organization and its structure. It is set up by the management and is governed by the rules, regulations and procedures. So who makes these formal groups? The management makes these groups, and it is governed by the rules, regulations and procedures of the organization. These are formal, which are work related groups. Then we have informal group. An informal group is an unofficial cluster of small number of members who voluntarily join together due to some commonly shared interest, value, needs and backgrounds. So a group of people who have come together voluntarily. Nobody has assigned those groups. वो लोग खुद साथ में join हुए हैं. Maybe they have common interest, maybe they have common values, maybe they have common needs or common backgrounds. So examples of these are like there are various clubs formed in offices, there are friend groups or there are music groups. So all these are informal groups. And in informal groups and formal groups there are various types. Like if we talk about formal groups, the task force within a organization or the committees which are set up for special projects, they are all a type of formal groups. Whereas when we talk about informal groups, interest and friendship groups or cliques or sub cliques, they all are a part of informal groups. Now let's see the next topic, that is group behavior. See, basically as I told you, the entire topic is group dynamics. Group dynamics deals with the attitudes and behavioral patterns of a group. So group dynamics concerns how groups are formed, what is their structure and which process are being followed in their functioning. So herein we'll deal with group behavior also as a part of group dynamics. Now group behavior is the social process by which people relate and respond to each other. So that process via which people relate and they respond to each other and they perform their respective roles, that kind of behavior, that kind of process is called group behavior. It refers to the behavior of a group towards others. See, all the people in a group, how they are behaving with others, that is called group behavior. And there are two dimensions of group behavior. First one is intra-group behavior. Intra means within the group itself, that is the behavior of members of a group towards each other. Group के अंदर ही जितने भी members है group में, how are they behaving with each other, that is intra-group behavior. And the second one is inter-group behavior. Inter-group behavior means एक पूरे group का behavior किसी दूसरे वैसे ही एक और group के साथ. So the behavior of members of a group towards the members of another group. एक group के members का दूसरे group के members के साथ कैसा behavior है, that is called inter-group behavior. Alright. So group behavior is basically having two dimensions. Now let's see group functions. Now the main functions in which groups in organizations are engaged. There are mainly 5 functions. First one is assignment and clarification of roles. See, they clarify, elaborate and they harmonize their roles of their members. In group, the roles are harmonized and they are very clarified. In the formal group, job title and job descriptions define the role of all the whatever is expected of members. And in informal groups, members develop expectation and perception of their respective roles. We set up expectation, like in your friend circle there might be a person who's good in who knows how to play guitar. So what will you expect from him? अगर आप किसी भी outing पे जाते हैं, what will you expect? You will expect that is the person who will play the guitar. एक और दूसरा person है who's good in singing, so you will expect him to sing. So in informal groups we have members develop expectations and perceptions about people. The next one is group problem solving and decision making. See, groups and organizations, they often serve as problem solving and decision making units. And a group can generate new ideas and they can have novel alternatives also via interactions amongst its members. When you interact with people, a kind of brainstorming takes place. You develop new ideas. When you listen to others' ideas, you can have modifications on those ideas, or maybe you can also come up with new ideas by listening to them. So participation of members improves commitment, motivation and morale of members. The third group function is leadership in groups. See, informal leaders often emerge in groups by common consent. Informal leaders are by common consent, like जितने भी लोगों को अगर लगता है कि that you know in their group one person is there who's very competent, who can handle all the things and who can assign the task, so we give a consent that let him be the leader or let him lead us. That is an informal way of creating leaders. And group leaders, they are expected to provide a sense of direction. Whom do we make the group leaders? Who can provide a direction and emotional support to the members. They maintain group's unity and autonomy, enforce norms of behavior, and they build a climate in which members can perform well and they can get social satisfaction. Then fourth one is group communication and interaction. See, members of group communicate and interact with one another to perform their task and to derive social satisfaction. Whosoever are the members in the group, they communicate with each other and they interact so that they can perform their own task and they can derive a sort of social satisfaction. And such intra-group or inter-group communication and interactions, they are very much necessary for goal setting or decision making or socialization also. The next one is group norms. Now, group norms refer to standards, that are established by a group about the behavior and the performance which is expected of its members. हम जैसा behavior है, जैसी performance expect करते हैं members से. So, all those, we have a set standard for those, and those standards are called group norms. So, group norms are established by members themselves through common consent. So, these are a few group functions that are performed by various groups. Now, let's see importance of groups. Now, there are various importance of groups. Let's see them one by one. First one is filling in gaps in managers' abilities. See, informal organizations, they may act like to fill in gap in managers' abilities, like whatever things, wherever manager needs the assistance, or wherever manager gets weak. So therein, who can fill the gaps? The groups or the informal the informal groups which are formed, they can help the manager in filling up those gaps. Like for example, if a manager is very weak in planning, so one of his subordinates can help him informally in such a situation, not in a formal way but in an informal way, like just being a friend, he can help him out. Second importance of groups is solving work problems. See, informal organizations, they help in solving work problems of members, and it also allows sharing job knowledge and taking decisions which affect a number of jobs. Third one is better coordination. Now, in informal groups, they evolve shortcuts and eliminate red tapeism. Basically, what they do is they facilitate the smooth flow of information and quick decision making. And all these things, they ensure better coordination among various individuals and various departments. Then we have channel of communication. See, informal groups act to fill up the communication gaps which might arise in the organization, and informal communication, they cut across the hierarchical and departmental boundaries also. There are no hierarchical boundaries or there are no departmental boundaries, and they transmit information with greater speed. When we don't have communication barriers, so information gets transferred quickly. Then restraint in managers. See, informal groups, they do not allow managers to cross their limits. So there are certain restraints that are imposed on managers. They restrict them from getting unlimited power and from using the power in judiciary. Then better relations. See, a manager can build better relation with his subordinates. A manager can have good relation with his subordinates. How? Through informal contacts. If he is, communicating with his subordinates informally in a friendly manner, so he can have good relations with them, and he can consult the informal leaders also and seek their cooperation in getting the things done from the workers. Like there is a team, the manager has got his own team, and within that team there might be some informal leader, so he can coordinate with that informal leader in order to get the work done by rest of the workers. Then norms of behavior. See, informal groups develop certain norms of behavior which differentiate between good and bad conduct and between legitimate and illegitimate activities. So these things, they bring discipline and order among the employees of the organization. And the last one is developing future executives. See, informal groups, they recognize talented workers as their leaders. Informal group में जो भी whosoever are the workers who are very talented, उन्हीं को लोग leader consider करते हैं. And such leaders can be picked up by the management to fill vacancies at the junior executive level in the future. And in the future, when management has any vacancy for any little higher level or some junior executive level, so these leaders only they can only fill in those vacancies in the upcoming future. So these were the importance of groups. That's all for today. Let's see the questions based on today's concept. Define group and explain the various types of groups. Explain the various group functions. What do you understand by group behavior? Explain the importance of groups. Stay tuned for more upcoming lectures. Thank you.